What is up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers. This is my prize picks breakdown for UFC Vegas 85.
I need all the wins, yeah. Harder than all that is. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out.
And we are back after a week off breaking down some prize picks for UFC Vegas 85. There's a lot of spots sticking out this week from a prize picks perspective. We'll talk through it, the significant strikes, the fight time, the takedowns, the fantasy score as always. Before we break it all down and get into it, if you guys could please do me a favor. 1, leave a like on the video. 2, subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And then 3, if you are new to prize picks and want to check it out, use promo code DFSBTN. And get yourself a 100% deposit match up to $100 as always. And yeah, I say we get right into it. Lots to talk about. And we're going to start with the significant strikes. The first one I'm going to talk about is going to be Julio Stoliarenko significant strikes set at 45.5. And I'm going to take the less here. And I like the less here for a ton of reasons. So she had only 9 significant strikes against Molly McCann, 12 against Chelsea Chandler, and 6 against Jessica Rose Clark. She has hit this, I think, only once, maybe. Against Alexa Davis, she did have 56 significant strikes. But, when Julia Stoliarenko is winning fights, she is winning fights literally in the first round and by armbar. She has 10 wins by first round armbar. She is actually favored to win this fight. So if that's the case, if she does go out there and win, which I do think she does, I think it's going to be in the first round, and she's not really going out there looking to strike with her opponents, and she really shouldn't here. She should look to get this fight down to the mat, and yeah, I mean, if she wins this fight, and it's in the first round, like, she could literally put up, 7 significant strikes, so this could hit very, very easily. The only way I see this not hitting is if Caroline is able to stuff all the takedowns for 15 minutes, and it's kind of like a boring, fight taking place on the feet, but that's not really a Julio Stoliarenko type fight, so I like this less here quite a bit, and I think this goes way less, to be honest, with a first-round submission from Stoliarenko. Moving on, we have, if I can find it here, Themba Gorimbo, significant strikes, 24.5. It's low, but I'm taking the less here. So this is kind of like the Stoliarenko spot in a sense, but this is a striker versus grappler matchup here. Themba Gorimbo, Pete Rodriguez. Themba is going to want absolutely nothing to do with the striking of Pete Rodriguez, just nothing to do with it. I imagine Themba is going to go out there and shoot a takedown within the first 15 to 20 seconds, and even on the ground, he's not landing a ton of ground and pound. He's more so looking for that submission in his 15-minute fight against Takashi Sato in a fight that went 15, which in this fight I don't expect it to at all go 15. He only landed 33 significant strikes, and then against AJ Fletcher in a fight that lasted into the second round, he only landed 6 significant strikes. So although this is set very low, I expect Themba to not land much at all. I don't think he's going to strike with Pete Rodriguez. If he does, he's probably getting knocked out, to be honest. So I like this Themba less than 24.5. I think this fight does finish, and I think this fight does finish probably in the first round even. And then finally, the last one that I like is going to be in the main event. It is going to be Nasruddin Imavov, significant strikes, and I'm going to take the more there. 65.5 significant strikes. Obviously, this is a 5-round fight, and I like the volume from Nasruddin Imavov. I like the toughness of both guys as well. I actually think this fight has a good chance of getting either heavily extended or going the full 25 minutes here, but Imavov lands 4.55 significant strikes per minute. This guy pumps out a ton of volume, doesn't have the power of Roma Dolidze, but a ton of volume nonetheless. I think that volume is definitely going to add up if this fight does get extended like I kind of expect here. So give me the more on Nasruddin Imavov significant strikes, 65.5. Moving on to the fight time, a couple spots sticking out here for the fight time. The first one is going to be a more on the fight time, and it is going to be Markel Medeiros, more than 12.5 minutes fight time. Both these guys are super tough. Landon Quinones went in, made his debut against Nasrat Hackbrast, ate 170 significant strikes, went the full 15 minutes. Quinones is tough as nails. He's shown that. The only time Quinones has been finished was against Jason Knight on the mat, and that's just not Medeiros' game. I think these guys are going to strike for 15 minutes. Both guys super tough, super durable. I expect this fight to go the full 15 minutes. Give me the more on the fight time. And then I'll take a less here. I'm going to take the less on Jung Young Lee fight time here. And whenever I saw it, it was at like, I think 10.5 minutes. They actually bumped it to 12.5 minutes. So yeah, I like that. I think it does go less here. You have Jung Young Lee, who is very front-loaded. I think a Jung Young Lee first-round finish, first-round knockout's very much on the table here. Blake Bilder's very hittable. Blake Bilder's been dropped a ton in the first round. He's been hurt a lot. And if it turns out, Jung Young Lee's not able to finish Blake Bilder, I think that Blake Bilder can kind of take over down the stretch and maybe break Lee as this fight goes on. So 12.5 minutes, I do like the less there. I think somebody's getting finished. And then another one I'll throw out there is going to be Gilbert Urbina, less than 10.5 fight time in minutes. Yeah, both these guys are super dangerous. Both these guys have power. Both these guys have a submission game as well. I think Urbina can very well go out there, maybe finish Racky in the first round. And I think Racky's, sneakily live for a knockout in his own right. I don't think Urbina has the best durability, and Racky does hit very, very hard. So I think another fight that does finish inside the distance, kind of an honorable mention there. I like the Medeiros and the Lee fight time a little bit more, though. Let's go to the takedowns here. So takedowns, there's actually a few things sticking out. We have a lot of options here for the takedowns. The first one I'm going to point out is going to be Molly McCann takedowns. It's set at 2. I mean, you go back to her last fight against Belbita, these two have fought before, and she had, I think, 5 or 6 takedowns, and I don't see why the game plan should be any different here. Molly McCann's not going to want to go out there and strike with Belbita for 15 minutes. It just wouldn't be smart. And McCann's a good wrestler. She's known for her boxing, but her wrestling's very good as well, and that's kind of the hole in Belbita's game is that takedown defense. So, yeah, I expect Molly McCann to go out there with the game plan of wrestling, and as long as this fight doesn't finish early, which I don't think it does, I think she crushes this 2 takedowns here. Next, we'll go with the Azat Maksum takedowns set at 3.5. I'm going to go to the more here, and that's because he is taking on one Charles Johnson. So Maksum, in his debut, actually only had 2 takedowns. He went 2 for 11 against Tyson Nam, but this is a much different matchup. Tyson Nam, prior to the Maksum fight, he had a 100% takedown defense, right? Nam's takedown defense is incredible. It's elite, honestly. But Charles Johnson, the complete opposite. Charles Johnson, 62% takedown defense. We saw Estevam take him down 3 times. We saw Cody Durden take him down 11 times. Makayev take him down 12 times. And the game plan here for Maksum, although I think he can strike for sure, it's going to be taking this fight down in the mat. And I don't think Charles Johnson, at 33 years old, is going to go out there and, make improvements in such little time. So Charles Johnson's been taken down, I think, like almost 30 times in the UFC, and this guy only has like 6 fights. So I expect Maksum to wrestle here early and often. 3.5 takedowns, it is a lot, but I expect Maksum to shoot upwards of 10 to 15 takedowns here. He did shoot 11 in the Nam fight. And then finally, one more we'll go with is going to be Renato Moicano. I'm actually going to take the less here at 1.5 takedowns. The reason being is for a couple reasons. For one, I'm not even sure Moicano is going to wrestle. He's not the best wrestler to begin with. And he doesn't really wrestle that much in general. And on the flip side, if he does get 1 takedown, I think that's probably the fight. But, there's a good chance Moicano just goes out there and stands and bangs with Dober. I have a funny feeling in the back of my head. That could very well happen. So I think this has a couple different ways of hitting. Moicano's not proactively going out there and wrestling, to be honest. He's not the best wrestler in general. And on top of that, I feel like he could potentially stand and bang here. He might even get knocked out. So although it's only set at 1.5, the obviously game plan would be to wrestle, but, I don't think he does. So give me the less here on the takedowns for Renato Moicano. And then finally, we'll move on to the fantasy score. And the first one we'll go with is going to be Randy Brown, if I can find him here. So Randy Brown fantasy score is set at 88.5. I think this fight's going to suck, to be honest, and that's because it's a Muslim Salikov fight. Salikov's a guy that is very dangerous. He's a very good counterpuncher, which leads to his opponents kind of, being a little gun shy in there, being a little bit lower volume. I don't see Randy Brown wrestling here. That's not his game. I don't see Randy Brown knocking out Salikov early. If Brown does finish inside the distance, I think it's late, if anything. But I kind of expect a low volume fight that takes place on the feet here. No takedowns. Not a ton of early finishing upside for Brown. I think this less at 88.5 makes a lot of sense to me. And then finally, I'm going to go with the Thomas Peterson more 91.5 fantasy score. I think if Peterson wins, it's in the first 2 rounds. Peterson, every single win of his comes before the third round starts. And yeah, we've seen Pogues taken down and finished. Like, Pogues has been finished in 3 of his 4 losses. I think Peterson's super dangerous. So yeah, I expect a finish in the first or second round for Peterson. But even if this fight does go the distance, I expect Peterson to land some big shots. I think a knockdown could be in play. I think a ton of takedowns could be in play. But, you know, I am expecting Peterson to finish early. If he does finish early in that first or second round, this more does hit. So give me the more on Thomas Peterson there. I like him a lot to win this fight. There you guys have it. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys could leave a like on your way out, subscribe to the channel. Let me know your favorite play down in the comments, and we'll see if we can hit some this week. And then also, don't forget to check out PrizePicks. Use promo code DFSBTN and get a 100% deposit match up to $100. Best of luck, everybody. Enjoy the card. Lots of spots sticking out for UFC Vegas 85. See you later.